Welcome to the Broken Agenda podcast, sponsored by Laughing Rock Technology.
All right, hey everyone, welcome to episode 7. It is July 14th, 2021. I am your host, Craig Stoneha. To my right is the always vivacious Tyler McCulley, and to my left is the new and improved Jimmy Klopp 2.0. So we broke him down, built him back up, made him better, stronger, faster.
Better looking.
Better looking. No, this is Justin McCulley. You're McCulley.
Yes.
Justin Nikolai.
Yes.
Nikolai. Justin is a technical expert. He's going to be a co-host for today, and we brought him in because, well, he's just kind of awesome. So let's get to it. Today's topic is cutting the cord. So, and
Wait,
for those of you who don't...
Cutting the cord?
Cutting the cord.
I thought we were talking about pulling cords.
No. Stop it. All right, we might be a wild card. We're going to see if he's a wild card. No, cutting the cord meaning getting rid of cable. So, or DirecTV, or I don't even know what's out there anymore. Is DirecTV still a thing, right?
Yeah, it's still a thing.
Well,
AT&T owns it now.
Yeah, the
Okay.
AT&T bought it. They're AT&T TV now. They have their own streaming service as well. I don't know. I'm not sure if they still have cable though.
What is AT&T streaming service?
AT&T streaming service is like, it's basically like your other streaming services, say like YouTube TV, anything. It's pretty much a streaming service from AT&T.
So it's like Google TV. Like you can go
Yes.
on and you can just buy their TV programming as a streaming service.
Yes.
Ah, I didn't realize they had that. That's kind of
Yeah,
cool.
well, actually, funny story about that is we used to have DirecTV, and then the prices just kept going up and up. And we have TVs in all of our house, all of our rooms, all over the house. So my mom was looking into it. It was like she saved $120, like because they still have the DirecTV, and they had the DirecTV now. But then AT&T bought it. They became AT&T TV, and it's a streaming service that it's about $60 to $70 a month.
Okay.
And you get all the channels. You get to choose your packages.
Well, I've looked at all. They're all like $60 a month. I mean, even because I thought because I have YouTube TV, which I don't. I have never. I've watched it like. I should just subscribe to the Impractical Jokers channel. Like, if I could get that for $5 a month, I would never ever turn on YouTube TV because that is literally the only thing my family has ever watched on YouTube TV.
Fun fact that coming home from school during my school days, literally the only thing I would watch on TV. Turn on True TV, Impractical Jokers.
It's, dude, it might be the funniest show ever made.
It really is.
All right, hold on. I know we're going off topic, but favorite Impractical Joker.
Favorite one? That's tough.
That is tough.
I don't.
Because it's the dynamic of all four of them together. You have Joe, who just doesn't care.
I think you mean Larry.
Well, Larry. Yeah, Larry.
For me personally, it either have to be Sal or Q. First,
See,
I
why
love
do
Q's
people
hair.
say Sal? Q's the best. I mean, Q's my guy. But my wife loves Sal.
Sal, he's just a funny guy.
He irritates the crap out of
His
me.
demeanor, he gets embarrassed super easily.
But he's such a wiener.
That's what makes him funny.
I don't know.
You'd think Murr would be a bigger wiener, but no.
I mean, yeah, but Murr, you know what you're getting with Murr. Like, he's a wiener, and even he knows he's a wiener, and he's like, I'm a wiener.
Weasel.
Did you see when he ate the poop?
I don't know.
They dared him to eat a dog turd,
Oh.
and he ate the dog turd. I don't, like, how... How does he ever get a girl to kiss him ever again? Like, how does that even happen? If you know that mouth is eating a dog turd, how do you put your mouth on that mouth? Even if it's years later and you know the quantity of Listerine that's gone through it, it still doesn't change the fact there's been a dog turd in that mouth.
He's been branded.
He should be ostracized from society and we should just throw him out. I mean, give him to Europe. I mean, I don't know. I've been there a lot, but I assume they eat dog turd.
That or Asia.
Or whatever, anywhere other than here. Just send him somewhere else. So, Sal. Can't believe you said Sal.
Well, I said Sal or Q.
Q's the man.
Q is the man.
And we wear the same hats.
So is my dad.
I love it when they... Right, we're not going to talk about practical jokes all day, but I do love it when they made Nora wear Q hair for an entire season. That was fantastic. All right. So, yeah, but other than that, I don't think I've ever really watched streaming. And I pay $60 a month for something I never use. My daughter doesn't use it. My wife doesn't use it. You know why we have it? Because I have a father-in-law who loves cable, who comes to visit like once every other month. So I pay $700 to $800 a year to have a thing that my father-in-law will use for 30 minutes once every other month. It may qualify as the worst investment I have ever made in streaming television. But
pretty bad.
He has cable?
he has cable. That's his way to relax. He likes to watch TV.
Does his, I guess his provider, like if you go to History's app and you want to stream a show you like, a current show, you can log in with your own credentials to your service provider and then watch the shows.
See, I don't know. See, I think it's like a comfort thing. Like, I think there is a comfort factor to sitting in a big chair with your feet up on some sort of big footrest and then having a little tiny remote in your hand and making the television do your bidding. Like,
Here's the thing.
I think there is.
Yeah, well, also with the cable television, you don't have a say in what you're watching. You're watching whatever they're putting on TV. Streaming services, YouTube, all those. You can watch whatever you want, but that's also the downside. How do you choose what to watch sometimes? Hundreds of movies. I'm sitting there with my wife. Let's have a movie night, right? 1 hour goes by. Still haven't picked a movie. Another hour. Like, all right, are we even watching a movie tonight?
Does your wife watch previews?
She does.
Does she make you do the endless preview rotation, like preview roulette? Where it's like 2 hours of sitting there watching her watch previews? Because you don't watch them. Like, you don't care. Like, you're on your phone doing something else because you're bored.
Yeah.
Why do women love previews so much? Like, they don't ever want to watch the actual movie. They just want to see the 18.7 second version of the movie.
Exactly. The highlights.
And they're like, that looks good. Let's see what else is on. Which means I want to watch more previews. And as soon as I actually put a movie on, my wife leaves the room.
Yeah.
She won't actually watch the movie.
Or my wife just goes to bed. I'm tired now.
Yeah, mine just falls asleep on the couch.
This is boring. It has a plot.
Exactly.
She falls asleep on the couch?
Yes. We're watching The Wire right now. Early 2000.
Oh, wow.
But I have to have one eye on her if she lays down on the couch because I got to stop it. She doesn't know what's going on.
Just blast ahead.
Just
leave her behind.
That's what I'm tempted to do every day.
Just abandon her.
Does your wife go on her phone while you're watching a movie?
She
or
will
something?
sometimes, and I'll be like, "Are you watching? You paying attention?"
Exactly. Like,
Yes, I got it. I know what's going on.
We have our shows, that we watch together. You don't miss.
Real Housewives.
Bachelorette, actually, we watched it
Bachelorette.
last night. We recorded
You watch Bachelorette?
with my wife. Yes.
That doesn't absolve you.
No, you're not forgiven. You need to leave with Myrrh.
Hey man.
That's the TV version of eating poop.
Hey man. It's also brownie points.
Poop again.
How long you been married?
A year?
6 months.
Oh, no, it's almost a year next month.
No way. Has it really been a year?
It's been almost
Get out
a
of
year.
here. Does she still like you?
I think. Don't.
It's usually like year 2, 3. Then start.
Oh, mine was done with me.
Oh, I
before
say
we got
mine too.
married. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was more a formality.
She was like, I just want to have a firm legal basis to take your stuff. Like right now, it's still soft.
You can still get out of this.
Yeah, let's lock this thing up.
Well, going back to what Tyler was saying with the channel, most, if not all, channels are having their own apps on,
And that's muddy
Smart
stuff
TV.
up. So, all right. So we've got, so for people that are wondering what cutting the cord looks like, so we do actually have an agenda on this show. It never feels like it, but we do. And there's a very real reason why a lot of people still have cable. And I think this is going to make it even muddier because I don't have any idea what to, I mean, it's kind of nice if you only ever watch one channel. So like I said, the Impractical Jokers channel, I can kind of have that if I subscribe to True TV.
Yeah.
And depending on what they charge, that might actually make sense because it's the only show I ever watch. So I could see there being a huge draw for that. And if every single cable provider that's doing streaming TV is $60 and you only watch the Golf Channel and AMC, $7.99 a piece is not really a bad deal.
Yeah.
Get rid of cable and just get those 2 channels.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's where it's going to end up, but I'm starting to feel like this a la carte approach to entertainment is really where we're headed, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, at the pinnacle we had like 800 channels.
Yeah.
That's unreasonable.
It's absurd.
It's absurd.
It's
Yeah.
absurd.
Yeah, but you're talking about this a la carte, future, but you have many different streaming services, Disney Plus now, Paramount Plus, Netflix, Hulu, Prime, all have different shows. If all your friends are talking about, hey, have you watched this show on Prime? And you're like, no, I don't have Prime. Maybe I should subscribe and get it. You're subscribing to another, $7.99. But then, hey, this Disney Plus show, okay, here's another one, $7.99. Those start to add up, and then, are you really saving money? Cutting the cord?
I'll tell you what, and at a certain point, you have to reach that gives to crap ratio. Mm-hmm. Like, you just got to stop caring. Like, there are so many shows that people talk about, and I'm like, no, I'm not spending another $12 a month just to watch that one show. I don't care about. I'm sure it's a great show, but there's so much content out there right now. Like, just go find another show.
Yeah.
But they were all doing it. They're trying to trap you. Ironically, the only one that's not trapping you with custom content is cable. Yeah. They're the only one not making custom content.
Yeah.
Everybody else is making content, and it is a trap. I mean, what was it? I mean, how many people went to Netflix because of House of Cards?
A ton. When they came out with their own.
And how many people went to Hulu because of A Handmaid's Tale?
Yeah.
And HBO Max.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. How many people? I mean, I even considered it for Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. I didn't because I'm cheap, but I considered it.
Well, I know a lot of people, Mandalorian, Disney Plus. I know a lot of people got that subscription. First season was done, cancel it. Next year comes around, get the subscription again. Show's done, cancel it.
Yeah. No, and but then now you got maintenance. Mm-hmm. You got to track these things, and people get bill fatigue. And it gets. Here's the real thing. So cutting the cord, getting rid of cable. I think most people are going to do it eventually. I think cable has a very real shelf life. Mm-hmm. The problem is, though, I don't think you save any money. I haven't saved any money. So, I mean, I think when I got rid of my cable, now, you don't have cable?
No.
Do you have any television service whatsoever?
No.
All right, so what do you have?
I have just all streaming services. So I go through Netflix, Hulu, Prime, and I have HBO Max right now, which I got because they were world premiering the Mortal Kombat movie recently.
And what ISP are you using? What internet service?
Blue Ridge Communications.
Oof. Okay. We're going to come back to that.
Okay.
Do you have cable?
No.
What do you got?
Well, I don't pay for the television portion. My parents pay for that. And
what we do in the television portion?
Like AT&T TV. Like television streaming.
So you're piggybacking on their
I'm piggybacking off of her subscription.
Gotcha.
But the only downside to that is screen time or screen viewing. Only so many screens can be
kind of like how
streamed.
Netflix does it.
There's a
limit to the amount of screens that can be simultaneously.
And I know I looked on it because I had her upgrade it because there's so many people. She has my sister living in her house now with like her 4 kids and brother-in-law. 8 people in that house, they're all watching different stuff, and then I'm trying to watch stuff with my wife, and we get blocked. So I had her, upgrade it, which costs a little extra. But that's what we use for TV. I don't pay for that. However, I didn't pay for Netflix or Hulu before, but then my parents and my wife did not want to pay, renew a subscription. So I'm like, you know what? I'll renew it, this and that. And I forgot. Well, I didn't forget. I just been the one paying for it. So now I pay for Netflix. I pay for Hulu. I pay for Prime. HBO Max was added into my Hulu. And I actually got the Disney Plus bundle with Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus, which I don't watch the ESPN Plus, but I got it from my father.
It doesn't ever work.
No.
ESPN Plus? No, I've got that package too. I forgot that one. But Hulu, Disney Plus.
So, do you guys have the exact same services?
It kind of sounds like it.
Just
pretty
about.
much.
Well, I think we're figuring out where the top ones are at. I mean, because you guys literally, we didn't talk about this ahead of time. I had no idea what you guys. I kind of knew what you had. I had no idea what you had.
Yeah.
That's weird.
But I'm also gonna go kind of nerdy. This will be a Phil thing. I do have like anime streaming. Like that's just strict for anime.
When he says a Phil thing, there's another guy. He'll be on this show at some point, and he's a nerd like us. Go ahead, sorry.
So yeah, so I have one that's called Crunchyroll, where I can watch almost all my anime that I watch.
I don't get anime. I don't get it.
It's an art
Have you
form.
tried to watch it?
No, because I just saw previews of it. And I was
I can't do it. I tried watching like Dragon Ball Z.
It's like
Okay,
adult
first of all, you
Pokemon.
can't not bash on Dragon Ball Z. That is like the godfather of anime.
Yeah, I'm gonna bash the crap out of it. It was like it was drawn by a 4-year-old.
Kamehameha.
And I don't even know what that means, but super lame. That's all I'm
No,
saying.
Super Saiyan. One or two people.
You know what the funny part
that.
is? Of all of the random, ridiculous crap I've said on this podcast, that's going to get me the most hate.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot bash anime. People lose their friggin' minds over anime.
Especially
It's
nowadays.
insanity. I don't get Pokemon. Not even cute. I said it. He's not even adorable. He looks kind of like a spiky banana. In fact, I'm not even gonna say his name anymore. He's Spiky Banana from now on.
No, he's talking about Pikachu, not Pokemon.
I don't even care. Aren't they the same thing? They're different.
He is a Pokemon.
Don't they shoot like stuff out of their face?
There's
and stuff?
different
I don't even
types.
know.
But anyways, so yeah, those are all the streaming services I use.
I think he's gonna hit me.
Oh, he's
No.
Can we switch spots?
I was gonna say, you wanna switch?
I don't want to get hit. I'm soft.
Play referee.
Look at these hands. Look at their like. I moisturize. I can't get hit.
I got the rings for it. Too.
I know you do. I saw them. I'm looking.
But no, yeah, I mean, I use this, I guess, a majority of the same streaming services Tyler uses. My provider is Xfinity, which I was actually going to talk about. I use AT&T cell phone service, which also goes into these cable providers trying to get you into package deals with, television, cable, and whatever else they have. And because I have AT&T, and if since I have Xfinity Internet, I was looking into it. I can do Xfinity Mobile since I have the subscription. I think $35 or $40, a month, and then I believe it's like $35 per line.
Okay.
So with that math, I'd probably save around at least $80,
Well, wait. Hold on.
or $100 actually, because I pay $180 right now.
Well, versus what?
AT&T.
Okay. DirecTV.
Well, AT&T mobile service, which kind of like, since you have AT&T, I think you can get a discount on the AT&T Now as well.
Okay.
I haven't really explored that since it's, my mother's account and they have Verizon.
Gotcha.
But I know with these cell phone services, they do the TV now and packages that they try to save you money. Like right now, I pay for internet itself. When I first got internet, it was $90 for the promotion.
Okay.
A year later, it's $120. Where was I going with that?
I don't know. You lost me.
I lost myself. Thank you.
Well, I will say, and I hear where you're heading with this.
Yeah.
I do. I did it a little bit differently. Obviously, I don't have any parents involved in mine either. But and I bet most people that watch this, if anybody ever watches this, which hopefully they don't, most people that watch this are probably in some sort of bundled package, if they have not already cut the cord.
Yeah.
Which I think you're kind of talking about that
Yes.
now. So you got your internet, you've got your phone, and you've got your cable.
That's the one I was missing.
Yeah. So internet obviously is the key to all this stuff. So even on those bundled packages, even if they're advertising it as the phone being separate and the cable being, it runs over your internet. It's all running over the internet. The only thing you actually need is your internet.
Right.
And I knew you and I were talking about this earlier. They do the trap, and they all do it. Verizon does it. AT&T does it. Maybe not so much AT&T, but Comcast, Xfinity does it, where the bundle might be $150 a month to get all three. You get a phone number, you get all that stuff. But if you get rid of the bundle and just get the internet, it's $120 a month.
That's where I was going with it.
So so there is a very real obstacle here created by the providers to cutting the cord, because they're going to punish the heck out of you. So there are some ways around this. There's actually some new services coming out, which I'm excited about. So I think 5G, we talked about this 2 episodes ago.
Yep.
So 5G could possibly be kind of the bridge here. If you can get unlimited 5G, a lot of this stuff goes away overnight. You can stream video, you can stream all these services right off of your 5G connection. I don't think they're going to let you do unlimited on your phone, because they're not going to want you to be using your phone as an ISP that you can travel around with, or as a modem for anybody. But I could absolutely see them doing what Comcast Xfinity does now and sell you a modem. Yeah. And that modem, instead of plugging into a cable jack, just connects to your cellular tower, and boom, you're broadcasting Wi-Fi and a local network off of your cellular provider, off of a 5G modem that has unlimited bandwidth. And that's where I see, if they're smart, that's where they'll go, because the real challenge, Comcast has always had a problem. All the cable providers have always had a problem. And people don't realize that in the beginning, the cable providers were super crafty. And they got themselves classified as a utility, which was very smart in the beginning because it's super expensive to drop new lines. And they had to bury all this cable and run it to every single house. And somewhere along the way, they convinced government that everybody had to have cable. This was something you had to have. Antennas were no longer acceptable. And kudos. But what ended up happening was the price they paid was their regulated status means that they can't move outside of territories that they own. So the only way Comcast has been able to grow is to buy other cable companies to absorb their territory so that they can then distribute to those customers. This is exactly why you either get Comcast or Blue Ridge. You can't pick between the two.
Right. Yeah.
Now, in a city, not such a big problem. You can get Verizon Fios, there's probably some local providers. You can use other choices outside of cable. You get outside of cities, you get in a more rural environment, that's it. Boom. You've got cable, maybe you've got access to DSL, or you get a horse and buggy and you go back to 1886. Like, there's no third real option.
Well, you're right.
There
So
is
5G brings about a third option.
There is. It's antenna or satellite internet, which is
It's awful.
Yes.
It's not an option.
No.
And you can't do this stuff off of that. Starlink, though, could be an option.
okay.
And I brought that up on the 5G episode, but I think Elon Musk's new company where they're putting the satellites up and they're doing the Sirius XM version of internet, I think is going to blow the doors off a lot of this. So I think between Starlink and 5G, I think there's a revolution coming here at ISPs because they bypass regulation with cable. Fios, ironically, is by Verizon, which is a phone company. They're not regulated. How the heck the phone company is not regulated, but the cable company is beyond me. But Fios can go wherever they want. So they cherry pick markets that are profitable and abandon markets that aren't, which is a problem. But they can do it. I don't blame them. I would too.
Yeah.
I would make the most profitable decisions I can. But they're not required to provide Fios to every home. So they're not going to go to low income areas because they may not have a high adoption rate.
Right.
So there's some very interesting challenges here where you get stuck in the cable trap because your cable provider knows that you don't have any options. So you're going to pay them either way. So can they fleece you for another $20, $30 on a line they're already running into your house by giving you phone and cable? Or are you going to give up all that service for like a $20 savings? And that's what they do. So what I did was a little differently. I registered my house as a business address.
Okay.
And then I signed up for Comcast Business Class service with their internet. It's not cheaper. Do not get me wrong. This is not a cheaper solution, but it is much better internet, much more consistent, much more stable, faster internet speeds.
Is it dedicated?
It is dedicated. It is not a shared environment like their residential services. And the nice part is also you're contracted, so you cannot go up in price. So, like the residential stuff, they'll give you an introductory rate for like 6 months or something like that, and then you go through the roof.
Yeah.
The cable, the business stuff is all. So that is an option for people that are looking for an option. And all you got to do is call them and tell them that you're running a business out of your house and you need to add a business internet connection. And then as soon as they install it, just call and cancel your residential connection. So now you're going to lose some stuff. So if you do want cable, you can't get a DVR, you can't get some high def features just don't exist. They're assuming you're a business and are going to give you residential services. But if you want to unplug, if you want to cut the cord, it's not a bad option. This is what we've been doing.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
I mean, it works. We've been doing 4 years, I think I've been unplugged. You've been about the same.
Yeah.
And then it's also, since it's a dedicated line, if there's a big storm and your residential area goes out, your line's dedicated, so you'd still be up.
You could still go out. Now, it still travels on the same poles.
Okay.
So there's a difference between if there's an outage. A lot of times it doesn't affect us where it might affect other houses in the area because it's a different network.
Okay.
But if there's a physical damage done to the network, you're going down. Like they're not running separate stuff for you. It's just your routers are dedicated. Your bandwidth is guaranteed. You're on a separate network with separate redundancies.
Okay.
So yeah, it's great. One, and anybody that's worked for a company that has business class cable knows your house might go down twice a day, but your office internet doesn't go down.
Yeah, it's up.
Yeah, and that's why.
Okay.
So it's a weird. I don't know. I got probably a little too deep into that, but it's a weird thing that happens here. So a lot of people are going to go out and find that. They're going to think, I'm going to save some money. You're probably not going to save any money. Like that is probably, because even if you save that $20-$30, now you start adding your Hulus, you start adding your Netflixes, you start adding your Disney Plus, you add whatever you're adding, you're going to be more expensive. You're going to be more targeted, but you're almost universally going to be more expensive.
Yeah.
Unless you just go sans entertainment and just start watching YouTube videos. I mean,
Which
I know people that do.
quality has gone downhill the last like 10 years.
How dare you say that about YouTube?
YouTube?
Phenomenal
I can't
content.
stand
Oh, it's
Anyway.
it's a train wreck.
anymore.
My one buddy, that's literally all he watches is just YouTube videos.
Dude, and people are weird on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
What the heck? I've seen some stuff, man.
There's this one that my daughter and I watch. I think it's called like Boom Slime or something like that.
I think my
And it's
nieces
just
watch
someone mixing slime together.
that. Well, little kids.
It's like auditory. It's actually kind of sounds kind of cool, but like they'll get like clay and
Is it
squish
like
it and stuff.
ASMR.
Yeah, whatever that's called.
Yeah.
What is
But
that?
it's just
like something
with
sound.
noises. It's
Yeah,
just like
relaxation type
like-
stuff.
I'm not gonna do it. 'Cause I don't wanna.
Gotcha.
But no, my
Maybe it'll
niece-
get us viewers.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, they like whispering to the mic and everything. Like,
Well, that's the
run
same
their
effect on
finger.
the kids that open toys.
Yeah, well, that's what I was getting at. My nieces literally, they will watch kids open and play with toys when they have their own toys to play with. But they like watching other kids.
I've seen kids watch those videos of toys they already have.
Yes.
The exact same toy. I'm like, you have that toy? And they're like, yeah, it's awesome. I'm like, why don't you go play with it? And they're like, I'm watching this kid play with it. And I'm like, but if that kid was here playing with it, you'd punch him in the face and take it from him, and then you'd play with it. Like, why is it okay because it's on a screen on the other side of the planet? I don't understand it.
And that also goes with video game streaming. People play video games. Twitch
Is no
TV.
joke, man.
Yeah.
Twitch is huge.
Twitch, you got the Facebook gaming now.
Yep.
Mixer. I don't know if Mixer's still big, but that was like an Xbox thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people will literally. Like, I mean, when I was growing up, we had cheat books. You know, like pay like any game was in there. You know, I had cheats. And then growing up, you couldn't be a level. YouTube came out. People would record themselves, you know, beating the level. So when I would, you know, get stuck on a level, I'd watch them do it. It's like, okay, that's how you do it. People today literally watch other people play video games. Like, yeah, I'll go on like Facebook. I'll be scrolling and I'll see some like cool video game clips or something like that. But I don't understand people that literally watch someone else play a
The
video
top Twitch contributors that are out there right now are making 8 figures.
game. Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine making $10 million
Playing video games.
just recording yourself playing video games?
Gotta figure out where I turned wrong.
I messed up.
You know what I mean?
'Cause I was a damn video game rock star.
My parents always told me, "You'll never make money playing video games."
They were wrong.
They
Dead wrong.
seriously were wrong.
That's all right. This is why we all go to therapy.
Yep.
Because of our parents.
Still love them.
Well, that's right. That's why we have kids. To send the next generation to therapy. So, pay it
Well, yeah.
forward.
But yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like with these streaming services, you can literally watch whatever you want. There's so many different types of streaming services. You're like National Geographic. You just want to watch some animals in the wild. You got your National Geographic channel.
Well,
You know,
even
streaming.
just here, we have different ones. So I don't have the same ones you guys have. I don't have Hulu. I do have YouTube TV, which neither one of you guys has. I think the only one that's consistent amongst all three of us is Amazon Prime, which I probably would not have as a streaming service. I have it more as a shipping service,
Yeah.
just to get
Exactly.
cheap shipping. So really, the only one as a streaming service that we all have is Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, and I have to be honest, of everything I have, that's probably my least favorite.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
I own it out of habit.
Yeah.
Well, do you remember when they used to send you CDs or DVDs in the
Oh my
mail?
god, yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
That
It
was an
awesome.
epitome because that's what got Blockbuster, you know, bankrupt. Because I remember Blockbuster tried to do that,
There's
but it
still
just
one
wasn't
left.
the same. There's still one Blockbuster.
One in Alaska.
It's Alaska.
It's up in Alaska. Yeah, I mean, fact check me. That's
Is
fine.
it-
I'm cool with that. But I'm
it-
pretty sure it's up in Alaska. It's up in like Nome, Alaska, or something like that.
Yeah.
So I still can't believe there's red boxes. You still see those things?
Actually,
I
yeah,
haven't seen those for a while.
I
but
just
maybe
saw one the
don't
other
pay
day.
attention
they
to
have
it.
them at Giants.
Do they? Yeah, I just saw one at a CVS the other day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
CVS, Giant. I think Rite Aid sometimes. Me and my wife used to get those, but we don't even have a DVD player. Only
Nobody has a DVD player.
exactly. Only thing that can play DVDs is my Xbox, which is in my office.
Do you remember when CDs and DVDs were like the pinnacle of technology?
You had like the CD thing on your car.
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh.
No, yeah.
Pull that out.
Bend, Oregon.
It wasn't Alaska.
It wasn't Alaska. It's Bend, Oregon.
Wow. This is why we fact check. So that I can't constantly spread misinformation. Fake news.
Oh, there's a documentary on it.
There should be.
The last blockbuster.
I don't
Came
even
out
know.
2020.
Does it still have VHSs? God, I hope so.
Man, I miss Blockbuster.
I worked at Blockbuster.
Did you?
I did in college. I spent 2 years working at Blockbuster, and I look back on my life and say unwaveringly, it was the best job I've ever had. Like working at Blockbuster was a college kid's dream come true. You could be absolutely wrecked and go to work and be just fine. It was just fine. They had candy everywhere. Really, your only job responsibility was to talk about movies and put movies away. I mean, the hardest part was rewinding them if somebody didn't. And that was the hardest part of my job. I remember one time I actually fell asleep behind the counter because I had a really late night the night before. And nobody even woke me up. They just let me sleep. They were like, this is really not that hard.
nice of them.
Just let him sleep. It's not a big deal. It looks like he had a rough night. So I laid there for 3.5 hours and slept on a hard industrial floor. And people just walked around me. Customers came in. Yeah, greatest job ever.
I can see that.
Sounds it.
It was awesome.
I try to explain that concept to my kids all the time. Like, we used to go to a place and then walk the aisles and pick something out. Instead of sitting here with the remote, like, I'll do it as we're going through. Let's find something.
You remember camping out, waiting for somebody to return a movie?
Return a movie.
Yeah, when they were all out of
Call
the
me when it
movie.
comes
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no way to get it.
Or
You had to
you-
hang out and wait. And every time you heard that plunk from somebody dropping it down the chute, you're like,
Yeah, you'd
is
ask
that, is
them,
that Ghostbusters?
Is that yeah? Is that Godzilla?
Like Godzilla, yeah.
Yeah.
The one with Matthew Broderick, of course.
Yeah. Okay.
And they'd be like, no, sorry. It would always be some awful movie. And you'd be like, darn, I'll take it. You just wanted something. You wanted to win.
I might have been very young or too young at this point, but I remember going to Blockbusters, with my dad and my sister. And then my dad would go, he said, okay, you got to stay here. I got to go look in this back room.
Wait,
young.
Blockbuster had a back room?
I guess the one in Exeter did.
So your dad's a flaming pervert. Let's see what's going on here.
He likes the women. What can you say?
Yeah, I feel like that's an assumption that he was getting videos about women.
He's
don't
happily
know.
married to my mother for many, many years.
Lots of gay men are.
Don't worry, Sylvia will never watch this.
Mr. Nikolai, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry. It's just entertainment. I don't mean anything I'm saying. All right, we're going to take a break.
Say yes.
We're going to take a break so that our non-existent sponsors can pay us non-existent money. We'll be right back. I don't know what they do. I don't know how babies are made. No, nobody ever talked to me about this. And we're back. All right, welcome back, everybody. Yeah, I wasn't even paying attention to what we were talking about, but I think it was cutting the cord. All right, there was one thing I wanted to bring up with you guys, because I don't know anything about this, and I know... So I didn't have a problem cutting the cord, because I don't really watch TV that much. Not that I don't like content, I just never liked TV. It was never my thing. And I don't watch sports at all. There's not a single sport that I watch. And I was telling Tyler this story. I don't think I told you. I didn't realize how awful I was at sports until I wanted to watch the Masters this year. And I didn't know how. I could not, I never saw them. I couldn't figure out how to watch the Masters. Like I pulled up all my streaming services. None of them were streaming the Masters. I went to PGA.com. They weren't streaming the Masters. And then I pulled up YouTube TV and I found the Masters and I put it on and there was no golf. It was just interviews and it was on Golf TV. Mm-hmm. So I'm texting my buddies. I'm like, is the Masters canceled? Is it on? And they're like, no, it's on. I'm watching it right now. I'm like, how do you watch the Masters? And they're like, you go to CBS. And I was like, how do you get to CBS? Right? They didn't know what I was talking about. They're like, you just go to CBS. You just go to like channel 6. And I'm like, I don't have any channels. Like, what is channel? Like, how do you get there without channels? And they're like, I don't understand what you're saying. It was the dumbest text log ever. I saved it, took a screenshot because I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done. Like, I felt like a moron. Never found it. Ended up just watching interviews with people talking about their childhood for like 4 hours while I did work on my computer and then turned it off. But like it's a real thing. Like, it's so dramatically different that I couldn't even find what I was looking for. And apparently this is a big problem. Like apparently sports is like the biggest thing. You can't. I don't. Is it that you can't see local sports?
It's usually so. One of the reasons why a lot of people stay with their cable provider is you like the NFL. NFL has exclusive agreements with networks to display their things, and there is some regionalness to it. But to even watch an NFL game, I think the only service that I'm aware of is sometimes Amazon will have a game on Thursday nights. Now,
Well, I know they stream the Super Bowl now too. No. Thursday Night Football they stream.
Thursday Night Football.
That's what I've watched.
The Super Bowl.
Yes.
Because I tried to watch the Super Bowl this year and could not watch the Super Bowl because none of the streaming services would actually work. They did. I forget who. I think it was CBS had it free, but you had to do it via browser only. So you had to be on a computer
That's
on a
how
browser.
I did it. And I connected computers to my TVs.
That's what
I
I
had
did.
some people over and then just hooked them to HDMI. Okay.
And that's what we did too. But a lot of it is just where the agreements live, like hockey. They,
big one. Flyers. Yeah.
But it's a local agreement. So like the Capitals, who I'm a fan of, have a local agreement with their local Comcast.
Capitals are hockey.
Yes, hockey.
Yes.
We're still talking hockey.
Washington,
Okay.
We're
Washington
in hockey.
Capitals.
Yeah, Washington Capitals.
Alexander Ovechkin.
Washington, D.C.
DC. Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yep. So
Makes sense. Capitals. Got it. I got it. I get jokes. I'm on it. I'm fine. I'm not kidding around.
no, I know you're
I'm
good.
I
Sorry,
don't-
I just kind of blurted that out, but
No,
didn't
I-
explain. That's all right.
Go ahead.
It's not as bad. When my
I'm a
my
moron.
wife and I were dating, she asked if the Redskins were in Washington State.
Whoa. Pump the
can't say
hate
that
brakes,
anymore.
Fox and
I'm
Friends.
sorry.
Jesus.
Washington football team.
Yeah,
The Washington
football
football
team. That I know because I like to gamble. I don't know anything about sports, but I like betting. I know a lot about craps. Can we do an episode on craps?
We could.
I will nail that crap.
Going back to the regional though, like Tyler was saying, this pisses my dad off all the time. He cannot watch Flyers hockey using our direct or AT&T streaming.
Well, no, why? I don't see why not.
They don't have the appropriate agreement. So like with
I mean, the AT&T can never show Flyers.
So figure Capitals and Flyers have their agreements through Comcast. So their regional channel provider is Comcast.
Okay.
Comcast isn't going to give DirecTV the access to it.
Okay, so now if your regional agreement is with Comcast, why are there still blackouts?
Because if you can get to the game, they want you to get to the game. That's what they
So
say.
even if you have a regional
So-
agreement with the carrier to play the games, they could still bar you from the games
If
in
ticket
that
sale-
region.
if ticket sales are not high enough. That's typically when they insert the blackout.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
so
you-
you only get blacked out if the stadium's empty.
To an extent, like you wouldn't see that with a Phillies game. I mean, all those years that Phillies had like 4 people in the stands.
Yeah, they're always empty.
Not anymore. Now they're packed. but-
Are they?
Yeah.
Why are they good?
Since they won the series, yeah.
They won the series.
Yeah, in 2008. You don't know this? Harry Callis, like, is one of his last calls before he died.
I don't know where he goes.
You don't know who Harry Callis? You have,
I don't know
you have a
anything else.
bobblehead of him on your desk. That's Harry Callis.
That's who that is.
That's Harry Callis.
Billy gave me that. I don't know who that is. I didn't want to insult him by saying I don't know who it is. I was like, oh, thanks, buddy.
Oh man.
Oh.
NFL films. You ever see the old NFL film shows? The guy who
Yes.
would narrate those. That's Harry Callis.
Oh, that guy's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Best voice.
I'm learning stuff. Is he still? He's not. Is he alive?
No, he died in 2009. Heart attack at the National Stadium.
Oh wow.
Yeah, his heart gave out right before the game.
That really sucks.
Sad day.
Jeez. Okay.
But yeah, it's
Dude, I'm gonna get blasted online over this conversation.
yeah.
Oh god.
This whole episode.
I'll eat my crap. I know what I am. That's fine.
All right,
Okay.
Burr.
But the blackouts also apply, like the NHL or MLB or NFL, they have a streaming service. Okay? So just use Center Ice, I think is what they used to call it for hockey.
Yeah.
I tried subscribing to Center Ice because I just wanted to use it through my phone, my computer, whatever. When I went to go watch a Capitals game, 2 hours away from roughly where I'm at?
That sounds about right.
2 hours, you think I'd be able to see their games? Nope, blacked out.
Really?
Because Comcast owned the rights, and I'm in that perfect area where it all overlaps with each other. So I couldn't.
Well, that
watch
was the
Capitals.
whole reason I got the ESPN Plus bundle with the Disney Plus and Hulu, so my dad would be able to watch his Flyers. However, he still gets blackouts.
Dude, sports people are nuts.
They really are.
They really, because I have some really good sport. Actually, my father's a huge baseball fan.
Yeah.
My brother is a walking sports encyclopedia. Drives him nuts that I beat him in fantasy football every year. Every year, I've never lost him. But I see. I mean, like Billy, the guy who gave me the bobblehead.
Yeah.
there's times when I can just leave a room because I know they're going to be talking about things I don't even understand for hours, because they'll get into sports and they'll get so fired up. They'll be yelling at each other. And I won't understand a word they're saying. I don't know anything. But I love playing sports. I understand the game itself. But they don't ever talk about the game. It's like Housewives of Atlanta. Like, they're talking about all the drama. Like, all that. Like, this first baseman did this and shot this person. And how dare they ban him for 4 games for a drug violation. You know, we all know they're all on drugs. Like, they get nuts. And I'm like, I don't know anybody you're talking about. I don't know the Housewives of baseball. Like, it's a soap opera for men.
It really is.
Really what it is.
But that is a reason, the soap opera for men, that is a reason a lot of people don't cut the cord.
Ooh, maybe that's what we should call this podcast.
Soap opera for men.
Soap opera for men.
All right.
But that's,
Are you writing it down?
I'm going to write it down.
That's a good
but
one.
for that very reason, they don't cut the cord. Because without doing all that research or, fumbling around to watch the Masters or anything, they have a channel. And they know it's going to be there.
No, you're right. And I get that. If there's anything I loved in this world that much, I'd care too. But I don't love things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Stuff.
whatever.
Anyways.
Life.
All right. So the sports thing is a real challenge. Is there a way around this with cutting the cord? Like, is there a way to get through the sports thing? I mean, I've been short of signing up for the NFL package, which I think you can.
So,
can you even do that?
No. So.
Well, you still have to have the carrier, don't you?
It would have to. So if I signed up for the NHL Center Ice, the only games I could see are not Pittsburgh, not Philadelphia, not Capitals. Okay. Every other team I could potentially watch, unless it's on a national
And would
channel.
you stream that on a browser?
You put it on. The PlayStation has an app.
can.
Phone
They
has
do
an
have an app. Okay, gotcha.
Smart TVs normally have apps with those.
Okay.
There are ways that people have discovered to mask
VPNs.
where you're seeing VP.
Well, I see. I don't know anything about sports, but I have walked people through setting up a VPN to make their IP address look like it's coming from France, so that they can then go ahead and watch the show. Not that I would ever do that. Theoretically, I theoretically walked them through the theory behind it.
And there are DNS services that you can pay for. Theoretically.
In theory.
Yeah. In theory.
In theory. Moving on. Okay, so there's ways around it, but none of them are great. All right, so here's the real question: is this cable's obviously on the decline?
Mm-hmm.
And I know that the NFL. I don't know about any other ones, but I know the NFL is in a long-term agreement. But I also know that the cable companies are hemorrhaging money honoring this agreement because their ad revenue is way down, because their subscribership is way down.
Yep.
Is this going to change? Like, do you guys think there's a new wave coming here with how you watch sports?
I would think so, but it's going to take the years of getting out of the contracts that they have, the existing agreements that are in place. Because you're already seeing, like, Amazon has the Thursday night football. YouTube, I think, even had some football games.
They had Monday night.
I think Monday,
Yeah, one or two here and there. And that was probably more just testing the waters to see if people would show up.
My understanding is Amazon did pretty well with the Thursday night football.
You're going to have a lot of people that turn it on just to turn it on. I mean,
I watched it.
I turned them on too, and then I don't even think there are teams I cared about. I don't really care about any of them.
I don't either, but I mean,
something to put on in the background.
It was a nice background. I'm working on a Thursday night, sitting at my computer. I'll throw on the football game.
Yeah.
And I did it too. So no, interesting. Okay. So for what it's worth, for talking about this topic, if you're a sports person, do your research before you cut the cord, because there's still very real problems that my 2 sports fans are telling me. So thank you guys. I really didn't know much about that. I try to do research, but I have no attention to detail when it comes to this stuff. All right, so we talked about the streaming content. So if you do decide to cut, which I love that I cut, it's a great move. If you do decide to do it, if you've got the right internet and you've got the connection and you've got the will to let go of cable, we did put together a fan favorite list here.
I would also, maybe I'm jumping ahead, but having the correct devices.
Oh no, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Not just TV, not just not just like an iPad or something, but
the iPad's not. It's not bad.
It's not
to watch it
bad.
on that. But I mean, if you're used to sitting on the couch with your family or by yourself and drinking a beer and watching television, you've got to have some sort of device there. Now I know people that will connect their laptop to their TV, and that works fine. They'll get like a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse, and they'll run it that way.
Most TVs that are sold now are smart TVs with internet capabilities.
Yes.
You know, that you can get these streaming services directly. As long as you're connected to the internet, you can just download them and they're there. You know?
Now there's 2 TVs in this room. One of them This one actually can't see on. Yeah, you can't see.
You can't see it.
There's one right over Tyler's shoulder. That one does not. It's not a smart TV. And then there's one over on the other side of the room that is a smart TV. So the one that is a smart TV came with all the apps you could possibly want pre-installed, and it updates itself. They're both run by Roku. So that one, Roku came built in as the operating system, which is why I own a lot of Roku stock, is because Roku is basically, with the exception of like Samsung and Sony, I don't quote me on this, but with the exception of a couple of big names, Roku's the OS for just about every television on
I would
Earth.
say, I think Philips.
Is it Philips?
I think it's
They have their own OS?
Samsung and Philips.
Okay, which would make sense.
Yeah.
They're both huge.
Yeah.
But I mean, does Sony use Roku then?
Uh,
'Cause I feel like Sony has their own. No, they have to have their own OS because they're running the PlayStation. They're,
Roku makes their own TVs though now too, right?
They're starting to make their own
They
TVs.
produce their own.
But
They have
where
their own
they're
TV.
really going to make their money is they've been selling this on a license basis to the TV manufacturers, basically making one-time revenue to buy the operating system, and then they can install it on their TV and bang, they're winning, like kind of like Microsoft does with Windows.
Yeah.
They're changing their model, especially for TV startups, to say, hey, look, we're going to give you the software.
Just take it.
Just take it. All we ask in return is you let us run ads on the software and on your TV.
so it looks like
Overnight, if they can make this happen, Roku's going to become the largest advertising platform on Earth.
So they took the Android approach essentially.
Well,
Or the Facebook approach, or
yeah.
the Google approach. Google doesn't
Yeah.
charge anything. All of these guys have built, multi-billion-dollar organizations just advertising.
Sony uses Android TVs.
They do use Android. Okay, so they're running off Google. So it's an interesting model, but both of them run Roku. That one I added a Roku to it. That one came with the Roku.
Is that
OS
one just
already
a stick?
installed. It's just a stick. So you just plug it into the HDMI port, and then I've got two remotes now. I've got the TV remote, and I've got the Roku remote, and it's a rock star. It's got everything on it already. So, like you said, make sure you've got the devices. I like Roku. That's what I streamlined on. Apple TV. A lot of people love Apple TV. Amazon Fire Stick does a pretty darn good job. My main TV in my family room, I have a Sony PlayStation that I run as a media center.
Yep.
And it does a fantastic job. I don't know, you were going to say something?
I was just that's what I was gonna say. Video game consoles, you got your Xbox, you got your PlayStation. I think even Switch has like Netflix and Hulu on it.
Yeah.
So you can either have it on your TV or portable. That's what's cool about Switch.
If you're geeky enough, you can get a Raspberry Pi, put Kodi on it.
I tried that. I don't like it.
It doesn't work as well, but you could do it.
I wouldn't recommend it. It's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
But it is. I did do it, and it did work.
Yeah.
And most Raspberry Pis now, they're going to come with an HDMI port on them, so you can plug them right into your TV.
And the newer versions have up to 8 gigs of RAM.
Yes.
So
you can
a little bit more beneficial.
You can build your own media, but you know what? I still got to be honest. It's a cool thing to do. It's a fun thing to say you did.
Yeah.
But if you're going to build your own media center, just use Windows.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to save you so much time and effort.
Yep.
Or maybe Mac.
Yeah.
But I feel like Windows would probably be a lot easier than Mac too. Well, all right. So you guys broached Switch. So anyway, all right. So we've got our top list here. But real quick, do either one of you use Switch?
What's Switch?
Like the Nintendo
The
Switch.
Nintendo Switch?
Oh, sorry, not Switch. Sling. I don't know what it's
No,
called. Switch.
I've looked into it.
Yeah,
I
I don't
committed
use
to
Sling.
You don't use Sling either. Okay, I don't either. I know people that use it love it. I don't know a lot about it from a functional standpoint.
Yeah.
But I will say we put together our list here. I'm going to have to say, number one, we didn't rank these, but I say we do our top 10.
Top 10 streaming services?
I say we rank them. Let's rank these
Okay,
bad boys.
good.
And
Yeah.
I got to put number one just because it was the first. I got to give Netflix the nod.
Yeah, it was the
the originals.
It's the Kleenex of
It's
streaming
where
services.
it's where the tides turned.
Yep.
With the whole entertainment industry.
Yep. And I will say that the content is pretty terrible anymore. And I don't really use it.
They do have a couple good originals, but I use that term
They've gotten
loosely.
so overkill.
Yeah, but I mean, they've ruined House of Cards. Mm-hmm. They've gotten very political.
Yep.
And they let the politics drive their content, and I think that causes a lot of problems for Netflix. So, I mean, House of Cards, they ruined it. It was absolutely just destroyed. And that was a great show.
Yeah.
They haven't really had a great show since that. I mean, they have Stranger Things, which is okay.
I stopped after season 2.
They have some decent movies,
Yeah,
but
The Witcher is coming out with the season 2.
I didn't like season 1. I didn't watch the whole thing. I only made it maybe 3 episodes in, and I was like, I'm good.
The Ritual was a good movie. It's a horror movie.
The Ritual.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good.
This guy's hiking in like Danish country or something.
Yeah, and the trees and
that was a good one.
That was a good one. If you like horror, that's a good one to watch. That one was cool.
Yeah.
So I give Netflix a nod out of just historical respect. Number 2.
I personally would go with Hulu because I would say I had Netflix and then almost immediately got Hulu shortly after.
I tend to agree.
And it from a cord cutting perspective, you can still get like Fox shows, maybe not the current season, but last season before.
Yeah.
Some of the other networks, because that was a conglomerate.
They got
of
ABC
networks.
and everything. I would have to go with Hulu as my second, but before Hulu changed its user interface, I did not like it.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was very confusing to search for shows, this and then search for movies. I bring up the whole list. Once they revamped their user interface, I definitely choose it over Netflix.
Well, I will say Netflix has some problems with its interface now.
Yeah, I would say all of them have issues.
Well,
with
the AI on Netflix sucks.
Yeah.
So I mean, they ask you to thumbs up or thumbs down something, and they try to build an algorithm off of that.
Yeah.
But they don't know why you're thumbs up and your thumbs down. They never ask you for the reason.
Yeah.
So I don't like any foreign films. Period.
Right.
I mean, and it's not, I'm sure someone online will call me some sort of flaming racist or something for that statement, but I don't, voiceovers bug me, and I don't watch TV, I listen to TV, so subtitles are something I'm never going to read.
Say subtitles, I'm immediately out if they're subtitled. I don't read real good.
That's
We're going back to me being a nerd.
well played.
I watch all my anime subbed, so I'm good with subtitles.
Yeah, hence I hate anime.
Yeah.
It's just the worst. Just awful.
Well, because it sounds horrible in English.
Yeah, that Pikachu guy. He's that Pokemon guy. That's spiky banana guy. But I'll thumbs down it, and then it'll think, oh, he doesn't like horror films.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'll be like, no, I like horror films. Like, I just don't like the one that's in Dutch. Like, stop giving me... And it never figures out the thing I'm trying to tell it. Like, it keeps recommending, well, here's one in Russian. And I'm like, no, the foreign thing was the thing I didn't like. Like, can I get a list? Like, there's a bunch of reasons. Can I pick it?
Can I, check it? Like, it's not my language.
That's,
Don't understand it. Don't want to read.
I don't know. So Netflix's algorithm is absolutely horrific.
Yep.
It's the worst. Amazon Prime's is pretty terrible, too.
Yeah.
There doesn't even seem to be an algorithm.
I don't think
they're just randomly lobbing crap at you. Like, why don't you try this? And it's like, it's a kid's movie, man. I mean, I'm going to watch it, but that's not what I'm into. Like, I don't know. Number 3, I don't have it, but people seem to love HBO Max.
Yeah, well, like I was telling you, I have my HBO Max included with my Hulu, so it's it's an add-on. Like I think it's $15, for the HBO Max, but you get all the new releases of movies that, especially the whole COVID thing, they started releasing movies on HBO Max. So they're still doing that. So you still get those movies, like Tyler mentioned earlier, the Mortal Kombat movie. My buddy has HBO Max. We all hung out over there when it came out and watched it. You got your TV shows and it's integrated with Hulu because I watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, Larry David.
Yep.
We used to watch that on our HBO Go app, but then they changed the HBO Max and everything, this and that.
Well, doesn't Disney Plus do the same thing?
Well, that's all in that whole bundle.
Yeah, they've got that bundled in as well.
Yeah, but I think you still have to add in the HBO Max.
Yeah, it's like the Hulu is your TV provider so that you can get HBO.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Because I got mine through Amazon Prime.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I mean, I love Disney Plus. There's just not a lot of content on it.
I mean, I love Disney Plus just for the nostalgia.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Make my kids watch all the movies I watch. When I was younger.
Absolutely. Force it, cram it down their throat. Yep. Absolutely. And that's why I like Amazon.
I'm a big Star Wars guy for the Disney Plus.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, so
I still have not let my daughter watch episode 3 yet, though.
no.
Yeah, that one's even disturbing to me.
Episode 3.
Yeah. Kills all the younglings.
Yeah.
Just cuts his legs off. Burns alive.
I hate you.
There's some dark imagery going on in episode 3, and I mean,
The Rise of Vader. What can you expect?
no. Hey, look, I like episode 3 of those 3 second generation of movies. Episode 3 is clearly my favorite, hands down the best. I'm just not ready that an 8-year-old is ready for it. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think she's ready? I mean, she's seen the first 3. She's seen the other. She's seen Clone Wars. She's seen.
I mean, she's sensitive to that stuff.
I don't know. It's maybe on a Tuesday,
Maybe.
not on a Wednesday. I don't know. She's a girl. Like
So
sometimes.
I would just put it on and watch the reaction. You're not going to do any long-term damage. Nothing more that you haven't
You
already
should
done.
have put that one on when you were building your PC or her PC.
This is why she'll never go near lava again. She'll never have a healthy relationship with lava. Oh, total side story, but I convinced her that all humans are lava monsters.
Nice.
Did I tell you this?
No, you didn't.
So I said, she was talking about, she was learning, I guess she was taking her first like biology class, and she was talking about like animals and people. And I go, oh, well, people aren't animals. And she goes, yes, they are, Dad. My teacher told me. I said, no, not at all. I said, all humans are lava monsters. And she goes, what? And she goes, you're joking. I said, I'm not joking. I said, all right, follow me on this one. I said, all right, what are people made of? And she goes, well, mostly water. And I go, and what happens to water if you freeze it? And she goes, well, it turns into ice. And I go, and what do geologists consider ice? She goes, I don't know. And I go, geologists consider ice to be a form of rock. I said, so if ice is a form of rock and melting ice makes water, and the melted version of rock is lava, that makes water a form of lava. And if we're 70% water, then we're basically lava monsters. And she goes, I can't wait to tell my teacher. And I was like, you go spread the word, sweetheart.
Can't argue
Spread
with
the
that
word.
logic.
We are all lava monsters.
Definitely can't argue with that logic.
Well, so I'm waiting for that call in. That's going to be an interesting conference. So, but anyway, so now we have one on here that I personally don't have any experience with. Peacock.
Peacock. Yeah, that's NBC's newest one that they just released 2-3 months ago.
Now, is that like CBS? That's just NBC shows, right? Because they were pushing that real hard with Picard, right? Wasn't that the one? Was that Peacock?
I think so.
The new Star Trek?
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the reason why The Office is no longer on Netflix.
Right.
So if you want to watch The Office, you got to pay for Peacock.
Gotta go to Peacock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now they have a free option. You can just sign up and watch some content with ads.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first 3 Harry Potter movies are on there with ads.
Okay.
But if you pay the $5 a month or whatever, then you get no ads and premium content like The Office.
Okay.
So that's how they're kind of approaching.
So this is what you were talking about, where a lot of these channels are going to start coming up with their own.
Yes. Kind of like the Paramount Plus, Disney Plus.
Or the Discovery
Plus.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, they're pretty much making it so that if you want to watch a certain show, you have to get a certain streaming channel,
Yeah.
a streaming app.
Well, yeah, they're trying to box you in.
Yeah.
Same way the cable companies are trying to box you in on cost. They're trying to box you in on content. So, that's most of them right there. And then we got the live TV. The only live TV ones I think that are worth mentioning is maybe the AT&T one you were talking about. But then YouTube TV, which I have, it's fine. It's not great. Hulu, which I hear is pretty good. I don't have Hulu's
I've
streaming.
never did it.
I hear it's okay. And then Sling.
Yeah.
And those are really it. If you could only get one, which one would you get? Of all the ones we just talked about, what would be your go-to streaming service?
True. I wouldn't even. I really couldn't put any kind of justification behind any of them.
You don't get to. You don't
No,
get to
I
slow
have
back
to.
your way out.
I'm trying to think.
I guess me personally.
No, not you personally.
I would go with. I would go with Hulu.
You go. All right, Hulu.
Just because you can include so much in your package. Deal. Package bundle.
He just said include so much in this package. He totally said it. We haven't recorded it.
It's on camera. Yes, but in your package bundle, I mean, you can include your streaming. You can include watching whatever show you want. With AT&T TV, you can't really do that. It's kind of just like cable, but live TV stream.
All right, so he likes Hulu. You're probably gonna say Hulu too, aren't you?
No, only because there's maybe a couple things I watch on Hulu. It'd be Netflix or HBO Max. It'd be between those two for me. And Netflix only because they probably have more shows. Because I like to watch a lot of the old shows that I used to watch. I don't really watch TV.
Okay.
It's more background noise for me. So probably Netflix, but HBO Max, I have more current things that I'm watching.
Okay.
Well, see, that's why I would choose Hulu because you can include HBO Max in your Hulu.
Yeah,
I
you're
mean, it's
cheating.
Well, no, that's a cheat.
You're cheating.
You son of a... Don't
Whoa,
break the
whoa,
rules.
back at
No,
you.
you just get Hulu. You get the plain
Package.
vanilla, just Hulu trash.
Just subscribe to cable. That's
it.
what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
That's funny. We all pick something different.
What's yours?
What's yours?
I'd go Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
I think I would. I love Marvel.
Yeah.
I love all the Marvel. I can watch them multiple times. I like the Star Wars movies. I like the spin-offs. I like watching the Discovery Channel stuff,
Oh, yeah.
which is all on Disney Plus.
Is it really?
Yeah, Discovery Channel's owned by Disney, I believe.
Oh man, I didn't know that.
I like the Pixar stuff. I can
Yeah.
watch them with my daughter. Go back watch Monsters Inc. or Toy Story or whatever
Yeah.
with her. It's always good. I might change that opinion as she gets older, but right now that's my go-to. And ironically, I like it more than her.
I can believe that. I like Disney Plus more than my kids.
I feel like
Yeah, she likes Netflix.
I feel
Yeah.
like most parents like it more than their kids.
Really?
Because of the nostalgia factor. Of
Absolutely.
It, you know what I mean?
Well, The Mandalorian's good.
Yeah.
The new Falcon and Captain America.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't great, but it was pretty good. I mean, I'm kind of excited to see Black Widow. I was not super impressed with
WandaVision?
WandaVision, but it wasn't terrible.
That's the one that everyone was talking about.
Yeah, I think they overhyped it. I think they ruined it for me.
I kind of watched the whole thing in the last 2 episodes. The last 2 episodes kind of just bring it all together.
It definitely, the whole thing makes sense. And it was a well done show, but I guess she's not. I don't want to ruin anything. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, maybe skip ahead 3 minutes. But the thing that bothered me the most, I think, and this is just the characters alone, is she seems to be completely omnipotent. Like, she is like Superman is in the DC world. Like, is there anything she can't do? She can fly. She can shoot lasers. She can telekinetic smash. Like, she's got all the powers in the world, yet she still has strife. And then he is the ultimate robot made with an infinity stone embedded in his forehead. So he should be the most powerful thing that's ever existed, and he can barely wipe his own ass in both the movies and in the TV show. Like, he constantly seems like he's confused by his entire existence. And it drives me nuts. I'm like, it's like...
They made those characters so powerful, they had to nerf them. Or else...
Nerf him. Great girl. Good call.
Well, what would be the point if you have the 2 strongest characters? Like, who would beat them?
But I mean, are they the 2 strongest characters?
Well, she's, like you said, she can pretty much...
Then how is
create
she
whatever.
even... She's like Superman. It drives me crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, there ain't no Wanda Kryptonite. Like, there's no reason she should ever lose anything. And yet, here we have an entire show about the trials and tribulations of Wanda.
Feelings and emotions.
Yes.
That is her downfall.
Is it?
Like any great woman.
Like,
That's where I get my
The comments
ass chewed.
made by Jimmy Klopp 2.0 are not necessarily the comments of this podcast or its other hosts.
No.
Don't forget his...
Leave the crap out of that.
Yeah.
Don't forget his anime
Distance
remarks.
ourselves. Cancel
Anime sucks.
culture.
All right. All right. So I think it's interesting that we all picked a different streaming service, though.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of so. And this is why people end up with 5. This is exactly why, because they're all good for their own reason.
Yeah.
I will say that I wouldn't get any of the live TV options. If I wasn't being strong armed into it by family, I'd dump those. They're expensive as heck.
Yeah.
And it's just TV.
See, the only reason I ever looked into them is when we cut the cord when we moved,
Okay.
so it was a clean cut. But my wife was having issues with me cutting the cord. She wanted TV, and I had researched it, and I was like, you know what, you'll live, you'll be fine. And 4 years later, she's fine. But
That's what I told my wife. But then my gigantic father-in-law, who I actually am friends with and I respect, said he wanted television, and I was like, well.
all right,
This is going to get me in more trouble because I'm going to do something for my father-in-law that I wouldn't do for my wife. And I got him cable.
Luckily for me, like I said before, I'm piggybacking off my parents' account, which
Yeah,
is good
which is-
because
yeah.
my wife, she loves cable.
Why don't
She
you
likes just turning it
Why
on
don't you
and
just
for
give me the
background
username and
noise.
password for your parents' account? That solves all my problems.
Yeah, let's not do that.
We'll talk offline. I'll get that account.
Yeah.
This is going to be fine. All right, so we talked about pricing. You're not going to save any money. It's just accept it. But you'll have a lot more options, and it'll be very cool.
Unless you just go with one option, which then you are very limited. In
You'll
what
be the
you're
only
watching.
person in the world that's ever gone with one option, but I'll be proud of you. So, for what that's worth. How are we doing on time?
we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will say there's a couple other things I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
One is it's not just the options we've given. Social media is, if not already on this, they're an inch away from being the next players. I mean, and if I'm wrong, correct me. But
No, you're about right.
I watch, and I'm not proud of this, but I watch TikTok like it's television. And I don't watch television. But I can sit there for 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, and I can flip through TikToks and be perfectly happy with my life.
Watch.
See, that's how it is with my Facebook. I mean, after using Facebook for so long, I mean, the algorithm knows what you like. So literally, if I watch a video and I start scrolling, it'll keep me, enticed for. I could sit there for hours because it just gives me videos that it knows I like to watch.
Just a lot of footballs to crotches and spiky bananas.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
epic fails. I still watch Smosh, even though they're not as good as they used to be.
What's a Smosh?
I don't know.
It's a whole YouTube thing. It's a big YouTube. They're one of the biggest YouTube channels.
What do they do?
Just skits and
Like humorous skits?
well, if you fit, in that, viewing like category, yes. You would not like it. You would not
So
like it.
ageism.
Ageism, yes.
Yeah.
More
Did you call
people.
us old?
I think he did. Yeah.
What a dick.
Unless you're some weird older man who like.
I'm watching. That's it. I'm watching Smosh. I'm gonna smosh the Smosh out of this
I'm gonna get
Smosh.
the T-shirt.
That's
There
what
you
we're
go.
doing it.
Yep.
You and I are
Let's
gonna
do it.
sit down
Get the
together
Smosh
and make a
t-shirt.
bowl of popcorn and get a keg of beer, and we're gonna watch all the Smosh ever made. It's just cram
Watch
right
from the
through.
beginning. You won't be disappointed.
I mean, I'm assuming it's like Smosh.0. Yeah, it'll be great. So keep an eye on that though, because I have a feeling in the next couple of years, social media is going to challenge these guys, and social media is going to do it for free. Like I do not feel like it is that far off, and maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think it's that far off to expect unique content from Facebook. I mean, I may not be right. They may have no interest in getting into producing content, but they're already a media platform.
They've already produced content. I don't know if you ever heard the podcast Limetown.
No.
It's like a fictional podcast, but it's a story based. They made a TV show of it.
And it's on Facebook.
It's still there. They canceled it after the first season.
Okay, so this could be a huge advantage of cutting the cord.
Yeah.
Is if social media, and I want to be very clear here, my disdain for social media is a physical thing. I get physically nauseous when it comes to social media. But if they're willing to get into content generation and possibly content distribution and do it as an advertising revenue model, you may not need these streaming services.
No.
I mean, it may all be free, and you just have to watch some ads.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be an interesting shift, and I don't know how that would affect. I mean, I expect they'd all follow suit if that were to happen.
In some ways, it's reverting back
To
to
cable television. Yeah.
television.
Well, even with these streaming services like Hulu, if you don't pay for the upgraded version,
Yeah, you do it with ads.
you're watching ads.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think
same thing.
Amazon does that for some stuff. You can watch
Yep.
it even without Prime, but they have commercials in there that you
Yep.
cannot skip.
Yeah.
And that's how they make their money on it. And I see that being a very real thing, because never underestimate the inherent cheapness of American society.
Yeah.
I mean, the crap that people will do for free is
Yeah.
disturbing. So I could absolutely see that just toppling some stuff. And then you're going to end up, everybody will survive. Netflix will come up with an ad version that's cheaper and whatever. But it could very much change the landscape. All right, so let's wrap this thing up. So as a conclusion, pros and cons. Go. Number one pro, number one con of cutting the cord.
Pro, watch wherever you want. I'd have to say that's my number one pro.
Nice.
You can literally when you're traveling on an airplane, say you're in your car, not driving, hopefully.
Or driving, whatever. Roll the dice.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Wherever you want to be. You
You'll be
can
fine.
literally pull out your smart device. As long as you're connected to the internet, you can pull up your Hulu. You can pull up your AT&T TV, your Prime, all of the streaming services. You can pull them up, log in, and watch wherever you are, as long as you're connected to the internet.
I like it. Cons?
Cons, if you pick one over the other streaming service, yes, you can pick watch whatever you want. Con is there's such a vast variety of shows and everything. Like I mentioned earlier, trying to watch just a movie with your spouse or whatever. it takes you about half hour to an hour just to pick a movie.
Okay.
Cable, you don't get to choose what you want to watch.
It's on is on.
It's on is on.
Or you DVR'd it and you plan to watch it anyway. Yep, no, that makes sense. All right. What about you, Tyler?
Pro would be the flexibility. So none of them, as far as I'm aware, have a term to them. So you can sign up for Netflix for 1 month, Hulu for 1 month, whatever you want to do. Add or remove it as you want, which is nice.
Okay.
Right. So HBO, like I signed up to watch a premiere and a couple shows, and I'll cancel it whenever I'm done watching them. I think that's nice. Whereas like cable, you're usually year, 2 year, maybe even 3 years locked into it. But my con was very in the same vein as Justin's. Right. You're going to get content overload, especially if you start adding 4 or 5. I mean, there are evenings like a Friday night. I need something to do before going to bed. I flip through the services. I just spend an hour trying to find something to watch, and it's like, well, I just wasted an hour. So not even
Now
watching
I'm tired.
anything. So yeah, exactly. Just go to bed.
Interesting. I would say pros, and this is a little bit different, but binging. I think I do not. There's nothing I hate more than a cliffhanger.
Yes,
There's nothing I hate more than waiting 6 months to see what happens next. Like if I'm gonna watch something, I want to get it over with. It's like pulling a Band-Aid off. Like let's just get a pizza and stay up all night and wrap this thing up.
Well, a lot of times with the shows I watch, if say there's only like one season, I'll wait maybe if it's not like that big of a show and like I'm not really into like I'll wait a few seasons and then you get the binge.
I wait till they're over.
Yeah,
I wait till it's totally over because I don't want them to cancel it halfway through. So I wait till it's totally done, like Lost. Remember Lost?
Yep.
Okay, I never saw a single episode of Lost. I refused because I was like, maybe they'll cancel it. I don't know. People are getting nuts about this thing. I'm just gonna wait until it's over. And once it was over, I went back and I watched the whole thing straight through. And I will say, on the plus side, it was awesome to watch it straight through. It took me a while because there's like 7 or 8 seasons, but I got through it all. On the negative side, it kind of sucks without suspense.
Yeah, you lose that.
The show is not as good if you just roll from episode to episode.
Yeah.
It was that week in between where people are like, what's happening?
Yeah.
What's the smoke? What's going on? But if you just wait an hour and a half and you're 6 episodes ahead and you're like, oh, the smoke's just smoke.
Yeah, like when you get to that week and then you're sitting there, you're like, oh boy, your heart's like going.
Yeah, you're excited, you're into
pumped,
it. Yep. But I would say for me at least, being able to just binge my way through an entire series is a huge pro because it speaks to my impatience. Con, this is going to sound dumb, but I think there are people out there that will understand this. I have no idea what people are talking about when it comes to commercials.
Yeah, that's true.
And people talk about commercials
Yeah.
a lot. Like they'll be like, "Hey, have you seen that new Taylor Swift commercial?" I'll be like, "No, I haven't seen a commercial since 2016. I literally have no idea what you're talking about. I've never even heard of the company or the channel that you're referring to."
One of the only times I watch commercials is Super Bowl Sunday.
Yep. And that's the only time I watch it.
Yeah.
Once a year, I watch the commercials in the Super Bowl, and that's it. So they have to have all the commercials that are worth watching in that 1 3-hour period, or I'm out. And it's weird because it's a cultural gap. Mm-hmm. Like people will talk about shows and they will talk about commercials, and this becomes a thing that they talk about. And I don't know. It's like how weird it got when we brought up sports. And I didn't know what the hell you two were talking about. Like it's a culture gap thing, and it's a very real thing.
Yeah.
And it's weird. And cable people think you're weird that you don't know this stuff. They're like, you haven't seen the new farmers commercials? And I'm like, no. And I was like, I don't even farm. I don't even grow stuff. And they're like, it's insurance, moron. And I'm like, all right, I don't know. I don't do insurance either.
But do you remember when that was a thing for you?
Commercials?
Like, when you'd be like, oh, that commercial, that was awesome.
Yeah.
You go on YouTube to watch it again.
Absolutely.
It was just a good one.
You know which commercial I just went back and watched?
Which one?
Do you remember the McDonald's commercial? I'm into nuggets.
Oh, yes.
I'm into McNuggets, what?
I was singing it, and my daughter's like, what is that? And I'm like, let me show you. And I found it on YouTube, and it holds up.
It does,
It is just as great today as it was in 1994 or whatever the heck it was. But so I looked up the story behind it because you get in a rabbit hole on the internet, and it turns out they're the original. Those guys should have invented YouTube.
Oh, really?
So they recorded it with a VHS camcorder.
Yeah.
And sent it to McDonald's. Like there was no internet to stream it on. Like this was not a thing like right now. Like you find it on YouTube and it trends up, and then people are like, "Oh, that's pretty good." Like they had to put it in the mail and say, "Please watch my video." and these two freaking morons mailed this VHS cassette with just them rapping about nuggets on a street corner, and somehow it became a commercial.
America's Funniest Home Videos.
Yes, America's Funniest Home Videos. You mail that VHS into the.
And oh boy, you would get on the show.
Who's the host?
Bob Saget was at one time.
Bob
Dave
Saget
Coulier
was.
did for a little bit.
Yeah.
Bob Saget, when he tried to convince America that he wasn't a degenerate.
Yeah.
Bob Saget. And he did a good job.
It was very good.
He was
It was
very
very
good.
shocking the first time I heard his stand up.
It was awesome.
What?
It made me love him so much
Danny
more.
Tanner?
When he showed up in Half Baked.
Yes.
Oh my
When
god.
he showed up in Half Baked, I was like, no way, that's Bob Saget. Didn't he do? He did the narrator's voice in How I Met Your Mother too.
Did he?
Oh, did he?
really?
Yeah, for like 8 or 9 seasons or whatever.
Oh wow.
He was the dad in How I Met Your Mother. Never saw his face, but all right. Anyway, we're out of time.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Tyler, as always. Justin, I know we called you Jimmy Klopp 2.0, but Justin, it was a pleasure having you here, man. Thank you. Hope
Thank
you come
you,
back
thank you.
sometime. And
Appreciate the time.
everybody out there, thank you for watching. Stay saucy.
The Broken Agenda Podcast. Sponsored by Laughing Rock Technology.